Hi, Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com, and we're at NAMM 08. We're at the Alleva Coppolo booth right now. I've got a cast of characters with me, Jimmy Coppolo, we've got Kirk Powers, and Marco Passarilli. If you haven't heard of Alleva Coppolo, I'll put it to you this way. They're being called the hot up-and-coming thing in the boutique world, but I bet you hate hearing that. You've been at this for a long time.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about your products.
Basically, we do a classic style bass and guitar, 60 style, 70 style, kind of doing it the way it was done, but now.
You kind of epitomize the whole boutique thing. I mean, you build this stuff. Matt's told me all about your shop there in New York City, and it's done the way it used to be done. You're still doing everything by hand.
Everything. Yeah.
Tell me about your new bass.
This is KBP5. Getting a lot of musicians in New York asking for this style of bass, but with a 5-string. So with a little push, we finally decided to do it, and this is it. This is this, and then we have another one here with flat wounds. It also has our new 5-string bridge, which is a classic style bridge, and my little twist on it, of course. But it seems to sound like exactly how I want it to sound, old.
Guys who know their tone woods are stopping by looking at the classic Brazilian. How exactly do you word this?
That's the species, as I've been told, it's called Dalbergia negra. There's about 10 species, as far as I've been told, 10 species of Brazilian rosewood. This is the species of Brazilian rosewood that the manufacturers in the 50s and 60s was using that became endangered in the late 60s. I was fortunate enough to get a 40-foot log from a guy who said it was sitting there forever. And
how does it play?
This is it. And it just feels and sounds exactly like an old instrument. That combined with the old European alder that we use, and then the nitrocellulose lacquer finish, it's exactly, like I said, it's exactly what I am going for. Of course, that's a limited run because I only have so many boards, but
that's a great-looking Tele-style guitar, too. You said you wind the pickups yourself?
Yeah, we actually we wind them and build them at my shop.
Tell me about your pickups.
A little different than the classic style. Maybe a little more output. I don't know how technical you want to get, but I'm getting the pole pieces that I'm getting are from Europe. But we cut the fibers in my shop. I used to hand wind them, and that got really impossible when you're doing on a larger, not to say that we're on a huge scale, but on a larger scale than doing one-offs. One, we don't have time, and two, you run into inconsistency issues. So I came up with a pattern that works for me and that I like. I was able to program it into a programmable winding machine, and I get the same pickup, pretty much the same pickup all the time, and I'm happy with it. And the clients seem to be happy with it, and that's what's most important. The players like it. So
let's talk about your cables. Kirk, you're the cable guy, right? Tell me about these cables.
Well, the cables here, we're looking for something that not only sounds good, but something that's really durable. I mean, we're using great oxygen-free copper for all the wire inside. The ends are probably one of the top of the line, the best you can get. What's really cool about it, the rubber jacketing itself is really durable. So, we've all probably done gigs where you leave your gear out in the car on a cold night, you come in, you go do the gig, you go to unwind the cable, and it's all stiff.
Yeah.
This isn't like that. It's a very soft rubber, it's pliable, rolls out nice and straight. You can plug it in, they're super durable, and they sound great. I've been using them for about a year now, no problems at all. No crackly noises. It's probably one of the best cables you can get for the money.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of Alleva Coppolo. Marco, you've been with Jimmy for, 6-7 years?
Yeah, about 6 years now.
Tell me, what's it been like? You guys are really, starting to catch fire.
Yeah, it's grown a lot over the 6 years. Originally, it was mostly repair shop and in retail, and it's just grown. I mean, remember just from the first couple of basses that we made until, now we can't make them, fast enough. I remember we would turn something around in a couple of weeks, and now it's a 6-month waiting list.
So there you have it, Alleva Coppolo. If you haven't heard of him, check him out.